All right. Welcome to the WolfShadePodcast, episode 73. I'm your host, WolfShade. I'm just bringing you all up with an episode on this lovely week. I am, just doing an episode weekly like I normally do sometimes, but I'm bringing you episode 73 on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. But this episode's not about me. This is about, the guest that I have on today. She's a very renowned cake artist. She does wedding cakes. She just started doing anime cakes, which I didn't believe at first when I first met her. I was like, okay, this is too good for you to just start doing anime cakes. Her Instagram is MyCosplayBaker, but I'm gonna have her introduce herself so you can introduce yourself.
Hi, Anthony. My name is Sally. I have actually been a wedding cake or a cake artist. I do custom cake designs for this is my 16th year in December, which is crazy. I started off
Mm-hmm.
just doing fun celebration cakes of all sorts and wedding cakes, but now I specialize mostly in wedding cakes just because that's where I make all my money. So absolutely. But I love cake artistry and all that, and I'm known for a lot of my unique textures and sugar florals. I'm really known for sculpting really, really pretty sugar florals on wedding cakes. But just
Mm-hmm.
recently, it was crazy. I have to tell you the story because it really brings in the whole anime aspect of it. So in December of last year, because I get these requests all the time where people want to
Mm-hmm.
like cast me on like a TV show or something like that.
Yes.
So last year in December, I was interviewing for a TV show that Hulu was about to produce or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually interviewing candidates, and they interviewed me for like two interviews actually. And during the middle of the interview, they were asking me, like, what are some dreams you have? Was wedding cakes like the thing you always wanted to do? Yes, it absolutely was my passion. But then they asked me if I had any cool other like dreams. And I was like, oh, I always wanted to start a YouTube channel making really cool concept anime cakes and bringing them to life in like a really unique way. And when
Mm-hmm.
the producer lady was asking me, oh, why haven't you done that? I literally had no answer for her. I was just like, I don't know why I haven't done that. I'm like, I would love to do that. And so I just like re-looked at everything and I was like, all right, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to
Yeah.
make really cool concept cakes where I cosplay and do the anime cakes and like bring them to life in a really unique way. And so this last year, I like went to Otakon, Katsucon, all these great cons, and I just thought I would bring a cake with me. My last one I saw Anthony at was Otakon. And I finally brought Aaron Yeager with me because he took so much time for me to sculpt. And I was just like, he needs people to admire him. So that's where I saw Anthony, and he was awesome. He was like, this is a cake. It was amazing.
Listen, if you all seen the cake, which I will post my story again like I did before, I told Miss Sally the cake was not too good not to eat. And I was just I was amazed at how it looked. I was just disappointed I couldn't eat it.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I sent you cake. I'm like, Anthony, I will give you cake.
Listen, I told Miss Sally when I first met her, I was like, look, and you mentioned CostCon too, because I was there this year too, so I didn't
Yes.
run into you at that time. But I told Miss Sally, I was like, look, I will pay a lot of money just to get whatever cake done, just to try some stuff, okay? Because that because usually when I see people do that,
Hmm.
it usually doesn't have like the continuous good cake smell to it
No.
when it's out for so long. And I didn't know how long you had it out before, obviously before we met. But I was thinking, I was like, okay, this cake still smell good. Maybe I can like get a slice and kind of just chop into it real quick. But you was like, no, it's just for show. I was like, but if I just take like a knob of it off, and then you was
I
like, oh,
totally
it'll be
probably would have cut it for you at the end of the day because Aaron was like falling apart already.
it was just so good. But usually cakes hmm, usually don't last long, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Especially when you're building a cake for, the specifics, but I don't, make cake like you do. So you understand that more better than me.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's just more of like a specific thing that you use kind of just to keep it lasting, or it's just, you kind of just, I wouldn't say think about the timings and all that, but it's not really a question, but I'm assuming you kind of like, know the specifics of like, okay, how long, this could last, what stuff I should use,
Hmm.
and just continue from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Ironically, with wedding cakes, a lot of people will take their top tier cake and they freeze it for a whole year and they pull it out and they eat it and they say it tastes exactly the same as the year they got it for their wedding.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming, well, this is my assumption. Most of my cakes, even frozen for like a year, if you pull them out and eat them, they're still really, really good. Like
Hmm.
surprisingly. So the ironic thing is it took me about like 4 days to build Aaron Yeager's head with like all the detail and everything and stages and stuff. And
Hmm.
afterwards, I literally, after I filmed my movie, I like froze him. So he's actually probably still good. I just don't prefer to give people like a week or two old, technically could be possibly stale cake.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I love fresh cake. And for me, like with the cakes and constructing them, I like feel like, you want people to have like the freshest cake you can possibly have. So like I always feel bad, but the cake shelf life, surprisingly, a cake refrigerated, I think can last you 2 weeks if the cake is really good and moist. So like a lot of my cakes have great shelf life just in general. But
Hmm.
next time I do one of those, Anthony, I'm gonna cut it up at a con and I'm just gonna serve it out to people. I'll be
Next
like, come
comes.
back at the end. I'm just gonna cut you guys cake. Here you go.
I mean, next comes we got coming up is MagFest and Katsucon.
Nice. I am gonna be at Katsukon this year, so I'm
Okay, great,
excited.
great, 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 great.
Find me there for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll hit each
But
other up.
but like when it comes to actually, it's not really a question, but I can expect that being a much of a challenge of how how you want to pinpoint, how you want to, detailing. You want to do the detailing, the proportions, and pretty much everything. I thought for cake, I would say cake smiths because that's what they call you. They call you guys like cake smiths.
I love it.
Um,
I love it. I call
I
myself
would
a cake artist.
I would expect for you all to be doing it for so long. It will be easy, but I understand things are it's like very hard too because I have a history in culinary too. 'Cause cake does deal with culinary,
Hmm.
and the most pristine thing I had to work on at the time was just waiting and patience with food, which was
Hmm.
not easy. But is like freezing kind of like a method that kind of helps out with just cakes in general because for me, I will usually not keep a cake in the freezer for like a whole year. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a tradition that was carried on through like I would say in the early 90s, 80s, it was like popular. But I think a lot of my couples that I get cakes from me now don't actually choose to freeze it. It's probably like 50-50%. It's only if they're
Hmm.
like mothers per se is like, you need to freeze it because it's like tradition. And that's like what them saying that. But absolutely freshness. I feel like for carving, like actual cake design, sometimes it's actually better to freeze the cake because if the cake is too soft, it's really hard to carve some fine
Uh-huh.
details. So I know a lot of other cake artists will freeze their cakes before they carve like a bust shape because the head is probably one of the hardest things you can carve in a particular cake design. And so I know like a lot of other cake artists like Side Serve Cakes and like Sweet Impact and stuff, they actually freeze their cakes before they carve any detail just because
Hmm.
the cake will like slide around with the icing if it's too soft, Like you can't
Hmm.
carve any type of cake at room temperature or I carve mine at refrigerated, but like Aaron actually was quite hard to carve coming out of the fridge because he was kind of even moving a little bit on me.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, just
okay.
because the more layers you stack up, the higher it goes, the more unstable it is. We even put dowels through the cakes to support them, and then we like will carve. Like carving the head, I think is one of the hardest, or even like body parts. But anything lower, like height wise, is much easier to work with than like things going upwards in height.
Huh. Okay, okay. Because I was thinking like that just in case you had to, sculpt maybe like a full body or something. But I don't think that actually. Have you ever done
No,
that
they
before?
have done that. I have actually seen a few cake artists that I don't personally know, but I know them like talking wise. They've sculpted like when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, I knew a cake artist who sculpted like a full Deadpool like body, like, but it looked like it took her probably a whole week to build that.
And this is something you never did before, correct?
No, I haven't done a full body one. I've done just like upper bust and Aaron just the head. And I've never done anything that extensive because I'm like, who am I going to give this cake to? It's so wasteful. And because I'm Asian, we don't like, I just don't like wasting food. So I'm like, I want someone to eat it. You know what I mean?
See, very unique you said that because I literally brought up a funny story the other day, but because I was helping my mom's friend cook kimchi and everything, right?
Oh, nice.
I didn't think the process was complicated. I just knew the fermenting process was gonna be annoying to me. I was like, okay, I have to wait till cabbage ferments. That's the first. Because I'm usually doing that
Yeah.
with wine or whiskey or sake, which is not that hard to make anyway. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the fermentation process is a pain.
Yes.
So I remember this literally happened. I was like, okay, like what is the ingredients needed and everything? They told me the ingredients and that's what I had in my bag and everything. When we got
Mm-hmm.
started with the fermentation process, the thing about Asian families, especially Asian moms in general, when you try to help out, they don't want you to help at all. I'm like,
They're
come
kind of
on.
control freaks.
I'm just like, I have the ingredients. I can't help out. Like, that's not fair. And I forgot how long you're supposed to let kimchi last, but it was a unique process to let that last and everything. And then, kind of just learning about it, the Asian cuisines to food through that type of leniency was kind of unique to learn about. But it's just I just learned at that time just not to help out in the kitchen. But it just I can't even help out unless I brought the ingredients, which I thought wasn't fair, but I couldn't argue with the mom because the mom was gonna go back and forth with me. I was like, but I wanted to
That's
help
so
with them.
funny.
Yeah, then my friend, she kind of just dragged me out the kitchen. I was like, no. I was literally pretending to cry so she can keep me in the kitchen.
That's so funny. It takes kimchi a long time to ferment. I think some of them like to
Oh
keep it like a month or two in a bucket in like their
no,
basement.
no. She did that with one batch, but I told her you are a trooper for doing that because my basement will not be smelling like kimchi. They will not be doing that
It does. It's like
because
your whole house smells like it.
just the other day, me and a friend at their place, he's Asian too. We took out kimchi that he had in there for a freaking year.
Yes, they
Oh
leave
my
it in there for
goodness.
so long.
I couldn't. So I just told him, you can handle that. I'm gonna go. But even after that, he told me it was still good. I was like, you mean to tell me that's still good?
Yes, they ferment it for like years. The I guess the longer the better.
So the longer the better.
That's like
And
their thing. Yes.
for my soul to leave early. No, that I got it to. That's very unique. I love kimchi though, but it's just I never really been a big fan of cabbage till that happened, but the smell of cabbage I can't really do.
No, absolutely. And Asians, I think that's like a winter vegetable, so they love having cabbage, like anything.
Because I already told my friend I'm not coming over to your house if kimchi's involved. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Just tell them you don't like kimchi. It makes your stomach hurt or something. I
It
used to
really
tell that to
doesn't. It really doesn't. It's so good to me, but the smell is what gets me. That's the problem.
Yes. Oh God. Well, there's a lot of Asian fruits, dishes, and stuff that don't smell good, but people apparently really love them. It's crazy. Like durian fruits, like a mystery to me because in Asian countries, a lot of bakeries will use that in their cakes and stuff. And I'm like, why would
Mm-hmm.
you want a fruit that smells like trash in your cake? You know what I mean?
The crazy part, durian is really not an issue for me. It's just the smell.
Yes, exactly. The taste, it tastes like papaya, but if you pinch your nose and eat it, it's actually not too bad because you're not smelling it. But like to smell it makes it 100 times worse. So
It just was crazy. I can handle a lot of things with profound smell, but it's just, I mean, it's a fruit. It shouldn't be that bad when you try it. As soon as I tried just one bit just to taste it, oh my goodness, that odor just pop. I was like,
but I'm so
no.
amaze you even try it, because I know so many people who aren't even willing to try certain Asian fruits because of the off appeal of it.
I just, as soon as I smelled it, I was like, okay, was it expired? But they told me, I was like, okay, all right. As soon as I saw it, got the durian, just ate it like this, I was like, okay, not bad. And then the smell instantly got me. I was like,
Yes, it's
okay,
the aftertaste is the smell. So if you pinch your nose, you don't get the aftertaste as bad, but it's pretty stinky. Have you had
yes.
stinky tofu? I feel like there's a lot of Asian dishes that smell horrible, but a lot of Asians like swear by it, like stinky tofu, because I'm Chinese
So, so like
and people love that, and I hate stinky tofu. So,
stinky tofu is actually not bad to me. It's just like I
mhm.
said for the other two, the smells was getting me because tofu you don't need to keep in your fridge. You can just have it in like a bucket or something to ferment it. Because
Mhm.
I look at this one dude on Instagram. I think his name was like Mr. Bao or something. I see him put tofu in like those little wooden containers and just like leave it in there for a few. And
Yes.
I'd be afraid to leave things out in the open. So, but um, but he leaves it in his his wooden thing and then let it ferment for like a few days or whatever.
It is.
And then apparently, if you let it ferment like that, it doesn't have a smell to it until you keep it out.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm gonna leave that to tofu to y'all. I can't do it
Oh my
because
gosh.
any tofu that I can make, like it's like with vinegarette or put it in between vinaigrettes, I can do that. It's just tofu is that a go to for me. But above all, it's very it's a very unique concept though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of Asian cultures like it because it's like a good substitute for protein. And of course, vegans and other type of vegetarians love tofu because that's kind of like their main protein source. So,
Oh no, it's nothing wrong with having that. It's nothing wrong with having that as protein. I just don't want my breath
right.
stinking as protein. So
Yeah,
it's nothing wrong with
I
having that as
agree.
protein. But what's crazy is those three things have a good source of protein with it, especially cabbage.
Yes.
Because I would rather boil mine and just make some stuff with it, just keep it simple. But
Mm-hmm.
since the Asian community loves to ferment theirs, because I remember I told one Asian mom, I was like, "So you trying to ferment this or ferment my soul? Because this is not going to work." So, and then as soon as I tried it with any other Asian dish, because I know this is not just prominent in not just Chinese culture, but it's very prominent in Korean culture too.
Oh
Sometimes.
yeah, the Koreans love fermenting their cabbage. The Chinese don't. We use cabbage in a lot of our dishes, like
Mm-hmm.
dumplings or gyoza, things like that. Like any type of like filling with the meat, we love putting cabbage in it. Or we like
Okay.
wrapping like a lot. Have you had dim sum? A lot of dim sum dishes
Oh
are like
yes,
wrapped with cabbage.
yes,
So yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But
You
yes,
explain it. You explain the dishes I haven't had in years. That's the problem.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I see you have my treats. Are we going to jump into
Eh,
treats now? We can absolutely talk about it because I do a lot of
actually,
Asian festivals. Since we're on the Asian topic, I do a lot of Asian festivals. I do pop-ups there where I sell a lot of anime themed dessert boxes. And Anthony here has some of my yummy anime treats that I make for those boxes, which people don't realize they're so good. And then they get them and they message me back going, I should have bought more. I'm like, yes, please, next time.
I was trying to open this without you looking, but I forgot you got a very good attention span, more than me. So never mind that. But
Well,
since we're
I'm,
on the top, oh, go
yes. No, no, absolutely, Anthony. Go ahead.
But since we're on the topic of trees, you mentioned you kind of like designing like a prison realm thing earlier.
I did. So, absolutely. So, for a lot of my fun YouTube videos, I'm trying to design like really fun things. And then when I do the anime cons, I try to like actually give people like treats just depending on certain anime concepts. So, like
Mm-hmm.
Anthony missed me at Otakon, but my first day I brought Aaron with me on Friday. Then Saturday I actually did a Jujutsu Kaisen like themed
Mm.
challenge where I actually bring, I'll let Anthony enjoy the cake pop. That one's actually cherry blossom, which I love. I make it because of Demon Slayer, because everything Demon Slayer is like cherry blossom, which I love. And cherry blossom
Mm-hmm.
is such a popular Asian flavor because of Sakura Festival. The Chinese, the Japanese, I say Koreans, they all love cherry blossoms. They use it in their wines. They use it in like, their sake and all the really tasty things. And because it's Sakura Festival, they have everything like Sakura flavored for like a whole month because of it, which I love.
You
Yeah,
always
I'm so glad.
outdo you always outdo yourself with your work. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, thank you, Anthony. I'm so glad I could give you treats. I wanted to give you treats when I saw you at Otakon because, like I said, I do a challenge video every time I do the anime cons now. And
Mm-hmm.
so on that Saturday when I went to Otakon, I
Mm-hmm.
actually did like a Jujutsu Kaisen challenge one where I try to play like an anime trivia game and I ask
Mm-hmm.
people three like anime questions related to the anime I'm doing. And if they win, they get like an anime treat. And that one I did like a
Mm-hmm.
Prism Realm cookie. So later I'm going to
Huh.
demo after Anthony and I talk. I'm going to demo making one for you, like on the fly. I'm going to flip my camera around because that's why I'm in my kitchen right now so that I can flip everything around and work on that.
So since we're in the process of like treats and everything, since
Yeah,
so just in case people look on your thing after I finish editing this for tonight,
absolutely.
I usually, start with kind of just um 'cause I've seen your website and everything. I don't think I looked into it much, like, pricing wise and everything. What are like the normal, prices you kind of go to, like these or cakes or cookies? Like, what do you kind of just go evolve around?
Yeah, so ballpark arounds right now, well, my cake pops and my cookies are about like $5, $4 or $5 range, but with like the
Okay.
anime ones, just depending on how detailed they are. But like the
Okay.
anime treat boxes I have like a combo of them, which has cake pops, a cake in a jar, and then cookies. And that box usually ranges between like 32 to 36, $38, just depending on how many treats are in the box. But like
Okay.
my wedding cake pricing, unfortunately, is a little bit more premium priced. And so my wedding cakes start at $10 per serving and that's like for buttercream and it's just based on how big the cake is, how many it has to serve, and how much detail I go into a lot of my cake designs. And so with the wedding cakes, like say the cake serves 50 people, then the base pricing for the cake, say $10 per serving times 50 people is about 500-ish. So that kind of gives you like the ballpark pricing of like a lot of my cakes, but then added whatever labor. So that's just like the buttercream cake. I know Anthony was actually really interested in how much Aaron cost if I were to sculpt him. I remember you asking me that at the con. It was so funny.
I was asking that just because I wanted to get something. I was like, look, I think I said I will pay whatever to get something sculpted, but still, like I
No,
said,
I'm
that
so
cake.
appreciative because I think I'm pretty affordable. I live out more a little bit outside of the DMV area. So where I live in Warrenton, Virginia, prices are pretty, I feel like more reasonable versus if you're in the city, I feel like it's like a premium. Everything costs a lot just because city with tax and everything is like way more. It's insane. Oh, that one's
Yeah.
so cute. I love the onigiri cake pop. I designed that one for Demon Slayer because if you watch Demon Slayer, all
Hmm.
Tanjiro does is he sculpts, he's making onigiri like crazy for everybody. He's a crazy man.
I haven't had onigiri in a minute.
I know. I love making onigiri. My kids love it. I make it as like a snack for them all the time. Like
But the crazy thing is, like, onigiri is for me, it's very easy to make.
it is. It is very easy to make. You can stuff it with anything, literally anything. You
Yeah,
can make sweet ones and salty ones. So,
I can't do the sweet ones because sweet ones be getting me.
well, do you like red bean paste? Is that why you don't like red bean paste? Ozuki paste?
No, I'm kind of like what's his name? What's his name? The Hashira. It's just
Which one? There's so many
what's
now.
Sanami. I think his name's
Oh,
Sanami.
Nanami or Sanami?
No,
No.
the Wind Hashira. I think his name is
Oh, yes,
Sanami.
yes, yes. You're right. I only know his last name. Is it Shinogazawa?
I
Yeah, it's
think so.
Shinogazawa.
But it's like with that is it's like me and him kind of love a lot of things that we don't want people to know about. So it's kind of like that.
Nice,
And
nice.
with red bean paste, kind of took me a minute to get to like, but I kind of love now.
Oh, good. Because, like, if you're not used to having, I feel like Americans aren't used to having sweet beans. They're used to having their beans salty, like, with a taco or something. So, like, sweet beans is kind of something like acquired over time. Like, I grew up having red bean paste and I love it, but my kids and my husband, not so much. They're like, ew, why is the bean sweet?
Well, I kind of got used to it because if you try pork
Right.
and beans, that's kind of sweet in itself a little bit.
Yes.
So that's how I kind of got used to it. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I can get used to this. And then as the more I kept eating, the more I got used to it.
Oh, nice. I love red bean. I think it goes really well in desserts and pairings. And I make like a really good matcha cake with like red bean paste buttercream inside. That's really tasty too.
I definitely love matcha though.
I love matcha too. I feel like it's for matcha, you either love it or you hate it. Like I know people who don't like it at all or really love matcha and everything. So,
No, it's just like I love matcha, but just my first instance with it just wasn't good because when I was first introduced to it, my friend kind of pranked me to sniff it instead of just putting it in like
oh,
water or milk or whatever. The, mo-
oh
the moment
no.
I sniffed it, oh my goodness. I think I had to go to the hospital because everything in my nose was just so, oh my goodness, it was bad.
Oh, it's horrible. It's super dry and powdery. So I would not recommend inhaling it at all.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm not talking to my friends in a while. I'm not doing this. I'm enjoying matcha the regular way, and then I had a love for matcha since then. But afterwards, it's just been that first instance was not good at all. But
You just had a bad experience with your matcha at first.
what's funny, everything that I love, I had a bad experience with at first, like spicy foods.
That's crazy.
Yeah, spicy foods. What was that food that I tried? It was like some type of ramen and everything, but the issue was the broth was so hot that
Oh,
it got me in my eye. I was thinking, ooh, okay. So I was thinking, how am I gonna stop my eye from burning? Nothing else would work. No chemical or whatever wouldn't work. So I just did the unthinkable and just poured like a batch of milk on my eye, which for some reason helped out.
oh yes. Milk cuts it like cuts the spicy chemical. They have it. They people do it on hot wings. Like if they get it in their eye, they like make them rinse it with milk or water really quick.
So and then since you mentioned so you said you working on the prison rum cookie?
Yeah, yeah. So in my one of my YouTube videos, I actually give out the Prism Realm cookie. So I am gonna demo that. So whenever you're ready for it, I'm gonna go into that demo.
Oh no, I'm ready for that right now
Yay,
because I want to see this
awesome.
myself.
I'm so excited. So I'm gonna actually rotate my camera and I'm gonna
Hmm.
sculpt a cookie for you out of the Prism Raw. How I actually construct the cookies. A lot of my cookies I like to have fillings because I always feel like a sugar cookie is kind of boring in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
So I fill them with fillings, and this one actually has chocolate hazelnut in it, like Nutella. So I will actually do that because I sculpt fondant cookies, which the fondant cookies are great because it allows me to create really cool textures. If I were to just
Yeah.
like pipe a cookie, the texture doesn't become raised or anything. It's really hard to create like raised textures with like royal icing, which is what most
Hmm.
sugar cookies are made out of. So like when I do the cons and stuff, I'll actually like sculpt really nice cookies and I'll do like fondant textures. Like look at this Attack on Titan one. See how I like
Yeah.
make the flowers and stuff? This is out of
Yeah.
fondant. But like if I were to pipe that, it would just be like so flat and 2D that it just doesn't look good. And I love the fondant. It just creates a lot of really nice textures. And now you can get really tasty fondant. When I started cakes, the fondant tasted horrible. So
Uh,
I would never sculpt anything with like fondant because it just tasted weird. Like it tasted really chemical and like dry, and when it dried up it tasted like a rock. So
uh,
anyways, the fondants are great now. They make them out of like really great flavors like buttercreams and stuff like that, and
yeah.
so they actually make a buttercream flavored fondant, which I love. So but I am
Yeah.
sculpting with that there. I'm going to rotate my camera around so you guys can watch. I've prepped one here for Anthony, and this will just take 1 second. I'm hoping this works very nicely without. There we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. I'm so sorry. I'm making sure it's lined up before I switch to the sides. Thank you so much, Anthony. I'm gonna make sure I centered that. There we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to the other side and just let me know if I go out of the camera angle. I'm trying to make sure I have myself in that angle. All right, guys. So I've So with Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like if you were stuck in the prison realm, it would be dark and black, and that's why I made a chocolate cookie with the chocolate hazelnut in it. I also feel like
Uh-huh.
Gojo's kind of a chocolate guy, or he really likes matcha too. So
I think they explained that. I think they explained that in season one because that exact dish, if I remember correctly, where in I think the second or whatever
yeah,
episode,
yeah,
that
he had
dish
a
has like
matcha dessert or something he really
yeah,
liked, and
yeah,
I couldn't remember what it was. And so what I have, well, I picked chocolate because he's stuck in the prison realm and it's supposed to be like black and dark in there with skulls and etc. So I've
mm-hmm,
already sculpted the fondant. I love the marble texture. Some really great ways to create texture. I'm going to create the stone texture with a piece of aluminum. And
mm-hmm,
how you do that is you like actually impress the aluminum into the cookie surface with the fondant, and it creates like this really cool age stone look.
oh
Which, when
wow,
Gojo gets sealed into the prison realm, I feel like it turns gray because it's like him, his hair color. Because remember how the
yeah,
prison realm's like red actually before, because whoever else was sealed in it before was obviously
yeah,
red. But then when he
yeah,
gets sealed into it, it becomes his hair color.
yeah,
All right, so this is how you kind of create like this age stone texture with like crinkled up aluminum, which I really love this texture. I actually do this a lot on my wedding cakes because it just creates like a really kind of architectural feel to it. Like if you were doing like Italian sculptures or any of that stuff. All right, so I
yeah,
think this is pretty good. Can you guys see that detailing okay?
yeah. We can.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then I'm gonna sculpt his eyes. So I already pre-sculpted like this little white piece that I'm gonna jam right in here as his eyeball. All right. All right, so I'm gonna put that in there. And then I rolled out little pieces where I'm gonna go like this, kind of like his eye.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna do multiple pieces like this, just to kind of give him that creepy eye look. I love the way the prison realm looks. I just think it's like such a cool thing. I actually made a cake out of it too. And I don't know if you saw that YouTube video, Anthony, but I actually smashed that cake. I've never smashed a cake in my entire life of making wedding cakes or cakes in general. And I was like, I want to make a cake and I'm just going to smash it and see how it goes. All right. I'm probably not going to smash this, but Anthony, you've read the manga for Jujutsu Kaisen, right? I haven't
Yeah.
read the manga. I've purely been an anime watcher, and I feel like I should read the manga because so many people are like spoiling it for me. They're like, "You don't know what happens at the end," and I'm like, "Oh no, should I read the manga?"
Oh no, I be telling people like, oh, you can read the manga, just don't be mad when if I just post something random from the spoils and everything. But not
Right,
everybody's caught up. I always tell
right.
people
I'm not caught
don't.
up either.
I be telling people don't look at the don't look at my stories if you're going to be if you're curious about the manga. But some don't listen. So
Right. No, I agree. I try not to get the spoilers. I try my best, but like I just know it's ending and I'm so sad and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's going to be over so soon already." All
oh, it
right.
already
So
ended
I've
like a
got
month
most of his
ago.
eye right here. Sorry, I have no idea when you're talking, Anthony, because I'm just here working, but I'm going to actually do some detailing. This is actually a veining tool, they call it in the cake world.
Yeah,
Learning a lot of, but it allows you to create these cool lines. Can you see that okay?
yeah, I can.
Right here. Perfect. And it just creates like these really cool veining. So I'm just going to kind of create this old looking eye with my veining tool. Um, and it takes me about like, I say 15, 20 minutes to sculpt this cookie in general, but I think it's done pretty good considering the fact. And I'm only doing one eye. The one eye panel is the most efficient, I feel like, because I don't have to
Yeah,
sculpt six eyes.
yeah.
But this is what I gave out at Otakon on Saturday. If we played Jujutsu Kaisen trivia, if you got all the questions right, I would give each person a Prism Realm cookie, and everyone seemed to really like it. And it makes me so happy to give these out because I just feel like it's such a cool cookie.
Yeah.
All right, I've got this creepy eye going. I'm so excited. I'm sorry, there's a Dusty here, and the Dusties
I wouldn't be
happen.
surprised if you do a cake for Katsu. I wouldn't be surprised if you do the brain with Ghetto, his head.
Oh, that would be so cool, man. Ghetto's head would be so cool. That storyline makes me so sad. I hope Gojo saves him. Because I'm just like, it's his best friend. He's being controlled. It's so depressing. All right, so
Yeah,
I've got the creepy eye right here. I'm gonna get my food coloring markers. So I use these cool like food coloring markers, and I draw in his eye. Some Most of the time I have to wait kind of for the eye to kind of dry. Otherwise, if you push too hard, it'll put an indentation in the eyeball.
yeah,
But I think we're okay. I think I think we're just gonna do it. All right. So I love how sometimes the eyes are like so creepy looking, like
yeah.
off to the side. But I'm just gonna do this. And then I've got blue here because I'm pretty sure this is Gojo's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why I wait for it to dry a little because it's so soft that I'm pushing and it's putting indents in the actual eye, but that's okay. I think that's okay. I'm so picky that I would clean up these edges, but I'm not going to do that right now.
No, you good.
But this is pretty much like my prison realm cookie, and I probably shouldn't have drawn all the way out to there. But it looks great. I feel like this is so like prison realmy. And I just
Yeah.
leave these to dry, and once they dry, I pack them up and I give them out.
It looks awesome.
Yay, I'm so glad. I tried to make the demo super quick. So this is what Prism Realm would look like in a cookie version. I have a cake version, which I make 6 panels, and they look so much cooler because it's like a 3D one. But that cake is pretty cool to make, I feel like. It's almost like if you were building like a Lego block, I would say.
To be honest, even though
All
you're right,
right,
I
so the
feel.
cookie's ready. I'm gonna tilt myself back towards you, Anthony, so you guys
Mhm.
can enjoy our fun conversation. That's what the Prism Realm looks like. Ooh, okay, there it goes. I think I did pretty good on the fly. I've never sculpted a cookie on a live demo fly on a live stream. That was so much fun. Yay. Now I got to send you the cookie.
Uh,
But yeah, Anthony's got some of my other really popular cookie flavors. Matcha is like one of my favorites. I do that at the Asian Festival a lot. Um, Attack on Titan here too. I do Red Velvet. Yep, he's got Demon Slayer. So Tanjiro is like one of my most asked for like animes at the Asian festivals. Like people just
yeah,
love Demon Slayer.
yeah. A
I feel
lot of
like, and
people
a
just.
lot of kids know about Demon Slayer. I let my kids watch Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, Demon Slayer. I'm not gonna say. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not. You know, it's not like kid friendly, but it's obviously it's some animes and stuff that shouldn't be watched and
Yes, this
everything.
is not a child-friendly anime. My son keeps
Yeah.
asking me to
So
watch it, and I'm like, "You're 8. You can't watch Attack on Titan. Someone will
see,
kill me."
I can't really be mad at him for that because I started reading Attack on Titan back in '08 when I was 8 years old. So kind of being used to that pristine violence is kind of getting used to. The only way I would kind of fairly recommend that if you watch it with him because he's gonna have to understand the trenches of government throughout that whole anime.
Yes, yes. There's so much conspiracy going on with the Attack on Titan storyline that I feel like it's harder for a younger child to understand what's going on.
And not only that, I'm gonna need him to handle a lot of gore, even though the first 3 seasons. I'm gonna say I'm really need him to handle that for the final season because the first 3 seasons really don't. I would say uncensored a lot of things, but the final season I'm gonna need him to handle a lot of that stuff in order for him to really get into depth with Attack on Titan
Right,
because
right.
it's a good anime story wise, but fighting wise with gore and stuff all over the place. Plus, you seen one person getting their head shot off. Like that's
Yes. Yes.
that's not kid friendly. So
No, not for his age. I feel like if my kids were 12, yeah, absolutely. Or even like 11. I have a 10-year-old who's almost 11, but he's not interested in an Attack on Titan. He likes Kaiju number 8. So
I mean, if you read the manga, well, I mean that props to
no, I
him,
love
but
Attack on Titan. It's one of my favorite storylines. I think it's a masterpiece. I think the story is well developed. It went on for 10 years and it was like one of my most favorite to watch over that time span. So I just think it's
yeah.
like one of the better developed stories. And people complain the ending's still not good, but I'm like, you have no idea. I grew up in the 90s watching anime, and like that back then, those animes were not as good.
See, for me, it's just I didn't have a problem with the ending manga wise and everything too. I just think I would have dealt it a little bit better if because I'm pretty sure everybody should have seen the ending by now. But I think from just an author standpoint, if you have somebody, a character that has the power to just take everything, he should have won that. That's what
Hmm.
I'm. That's what I'm.
So you think
That's.
Aaron should have had the full 100% rumbling, like 100% killed all
Oh no no
humanity?
no 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 no.
I
Hear me
know
out.
people who stand with that point, which I'm like, why? Why would you want
Oh
everybody
no
to
no
die?
no no no. I don't stand by the mass genocide part. I don't stand by that.
Okay. Okay. I know there are people who
But
think
if
Aaron should have
you
killed everybody, and I'm like, why?
but if you giving somebody like 100% power where nobody can beat you, but in the end, like he in the manga he let them beat him. So
Yeah.
I'm saying like if you're gonna give somebody that power, technically you can't beat them.
Right.
So technically that's why I'm saying he should have won. But like killing all those people was not right though.
Right.
At the end of the day, he should have just attacked the army
Marlians, the
forces.
Marlians. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the army forces. That was pretty much it. Which he did more, but he should have done that instead. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad because from reading the manga and then looking at the anime, he gave them more than one reason to like work with him,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't want to listen. So, and from just reading it, I was like, well, he did give him warnings. I can't be mad at him, giving them warnings. They just didn't want to listen. And then, like prior to the ending, it kind of proves the point. Even if he did all this, it's still gonna be war regardless because I felt like even if he did do 100%, it was still gonna be war regardless, no matter what he
Right.
done.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it was smart that he had to die. So it just didn't make
Yeah.
sense, but it was smart they had died, but the cycle of hatred was still gonna go.
Right. Right. Because humans are about power and money and all those things, and that's what he was trying to prove. And I love the storyline because even if he was close to say destroying all of humanity, mass genocide, blah blah blah, in the end,
Yeah.
he still cared and loved like his best friends and Mikasa. And I feel like in the end, I always knew Mikasa was like gonna be the only one who stops
Oh
him because
yeah,
he
I
still
agree.
loved her, and that was the only reason he let her kill him. I think in the end. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Such a great storyline. I just love the storyline. It's just so well thought out and so bizarre and mind blowing at the end. I'm just like, so much stuff's going on. It's
Because
crazy.
because it was crazy what people don't fail to like at least look through or just read.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize if Mikasa would have answered this question, he wouldn't have done the rumbling.
Right. He would have been a different person.
Yeah, it's just because like thinking about it, I was like, dang, Mikasa, you could have stopped this, but I understand from like, being put on the spot like that. You're like, nobody want to be put on the spot like that for no random reason.
Right. And I
And
feel
then,
like she was kind of confused too because she grew up with him. So she kind of
mm-hmm,
sees him like a brother, maybe, but he's not really her brother,
yeah,
and she loves him maybe like family. But the thing is, she's also in love with him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it was so confusing, I think, from her end that she didn't even know what to say.
yeah, that makes sense. It was just for that part it was going to be confusing, and then when they finally did that plot twist because what happened? Oh yeah, when he manipulate his own father to give him the power, and knowing that he was
Yes.
the strings behind it the whole time. I a lot of people don't realize how cynically messed up that is.
Yeah, when he finds out he's the coordinate, right? The coordinate's the one who can manipulate time and
Yeah,
control the other Titans and stuff like
well,
that.
that, but it's actually the Attack Titan that can do that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's the Attack Titan. Right, right, right. That's why it's
So
so confusing because he gets all the skills eventually. Like I think he has to acquire them from attacking them.
yeah, yeah. So it's like what he's doing is not necessarily time travel. It's just like he's sending memories of the future to the current past and everything.
Yep.
And then they're using power of the founder to go through the memory so he can do that. So and people, they was like, that's messed up and everything. I was like, so you do realize how messed up it is to have your own manipulate your own father to conceiving you for
Yes,
him to give him the power. That's messed up.
it is.
So that's why a lot of things, that episode kind of made more sense on a lot of things. So I was like, okay, I know he wouldn't, like, from looking at Grisha's character at first, and then as season 3 came about, and then I saw that scene, I was like, okay, I know Grisha is too nice to just kill, that
Right.
family. So I was like, he had to be provoked somehow. And then when I read into the manga, I was like, Aaron, you devious person.
Yep.
Jeez. So, and then he was just doing that just to, simple our revenge and stuff like that. I don't know why, but it happened. But it's just pretty messed up because
Oh, it is.
we went from killing all Titans to pretty much murking everybody. That was a completely random plot twist.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
why
was
I love Aaron's character because he goes from like a protagonist to a really evil antagonist, which is crazy.
yeah, his character development just threw me off when I read the manga.
Oh,
I was like,
yes.
oh, is this the Aaron that we are actually seeing?
Yeah,
Because seasons 1 through 3, Aaron wouldn't just kill random people for no reason.
exactly.
But yeah, he's literally just killing people left and right just to find the Warhammer and everything else too. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, and
And
that's
then
all happened after he kissed Historia's hand, right? That's the
yep.
only reason because he got all those memories back. He didn't have any memories before. That's why he was so optimistic and like hopeful, thinking he can beat the Titans. And then when he kisses Historia's hand, everything changes because he gets these horrible memories that he gave himself in the future from his father, and then was able to manipulate his father too because he just got all these memories back. It
Well,
was
that was from
crazy.
him actually.
Yes.
But
Yes, because there's like a skip. They tell me there's like a skip. I'm just like I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos to understand the time skip with the Grisha.
yeah, what's crazy is technically because if you think about it, towards the ending, he technically achieved his first dream. If you think about it, because
Yep,
he wanted to get rid of the Titan power, and that's what he basically did. So it's just he just couldn't come back.
I
Well, he came
know.
back as a bird, but he just couldn't come back to be with Mika. So that was the downfall of everything.
Yep,
Because people need to realize not only is that part set in stone, you got to remember that your mayor is still kind of the front lines of everything. It's just,
hmm
you know, she's trying to, she's trying to find somebody to actually, love her when the king really didn't give a crap about her
right,
because the manga kind of went into depth with that like very well and everything. I just think it was pretty messed up with what happened to her and everything because that's why Aaron had a premier hatred for the Reese and the Fritz family because
hmm
that's not fair because why do that to somebody that just try to find love and everything, but you have to be that arrogant of a king for
right. He
reading that.
literally only used her for his means to an end, which was like war, power. I
Oh,
think land, all that stuff. King Fritz's character sounded horrible.
oh no, I tell you, they could have went all out for that one scene, but oh my goodness, that was enough in the manga.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They could
I felt
they
like
could have
that
went.
episode already was so depressing. Ymir Fritz's story.
Oh yeah, they could have went all out for that part. But I was like, no, let's not do that today.
Yeah,
But
too many children watching.
oh
I know so
yeah,
many kids that watch Attack on Titan.
because I remember after Attack on Titan ended, I remember Historia got so much random hatred for some reason. I was like,
Yeah,
wait, why is she getting hatred when she didn't even know she had that power herself? She didn't know.
right. Yep.
It's like, how you gonna know that like him kissing her hand was gonna be the reason for him to commit mass genocide? That's
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty messed up.
it is messed up. It's so crazy.
But with like 4 minutes left, it's just just kind of going through everything because I'm paying attention to your schedule. But like we're just going through everything and everything. Are there kind of like some future cakes from like specific animes that you want to do, like Kaiju Aid?
I did. So I will do for my YouTube channel like fun anime cakes. I actually did make a kaiju cake. I have it back here actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So like I do these cool burn away cakes. Do you see this?
Oh,
So I
wow.
did a cool burn away cake. Burn away cakes are really popular. It's like an image you put over another image and you light
Hmm.
the image on fire and it burns away and shows like the stacked image. But this
Yeah.
kaiju number 8 cake I made for like a really cool, just fun YouTube video, it actually glows in the dark. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see how it glows in the
Yeah, I
dark?
can. I can. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. His eyes. Yeah. So I have this really cool glow in the dark powder that's edible that I use for these cool
Yeah.
cakes. So I'll like actually do like really cool glow in the dark cakes where I do stuff like this. So I have the
Cool.
Kaiju number 8 cake, which I love, and I think that's probably gonna be the next one. I would love to just sculpt like either the Kaiju heart or like Kafka's like head and walk
I
around
was
with
about to
it.
say you. I was about to say you because with that you necessarily. I don't know how that will work, but necessarily you really don't have to. You can just sculpt the helmet. That's pretty much it.
His face, right? Even his face,
Yeah.
I feel like just like his mask piece, even
You
would be
just
really
you just need
cool.
you just need to have something to carry it behind it, or just have it on the
Yeah.
plate like Aaron's head. But that shouldn't be that complicated to make. But because because I know Sakamoto Days is coming out next year, but it's not really stuff to design with that. Besides,
Right, right. I'm trying to think what else what other concepts I had thought of for my next one. Because One Piece is so popular. People are always asking me for One Piece.
One Piece is
Do
so
you like One
popular.
Piece? Either people love One Piece or they don't like One Piece. So I'm just
Listen,
curious.
listen. I love One Piece because I literally been watching that series since 2002. The only issue is the fact that it's still going.
It's so long. I just don't know if someone were to catch up, you would not be able to. You know what I
See,
mean? Like my kids just started it, and I'm like, oh boys, One Piece is at 1,122 episodes, right?
this is how I tell people they can catch up, right? I told them you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to go on your days off where you're not doing anything. You're not
But
busy with
watching One
anything.
Piece.
You're not busy with anything. You take care of all the bills or whatever, or work on that while you watching anime. But you're gonna have to watch 22 episodes a day per week in order to get caught up. Because there's
Yeah.
no way you can catch up to 100 episodes in one day.
Yes. And it's so many side characters and side stories that I always feel like I miss out because I don't remember this side story or this side character
Like
because
that's
it was
why
so
majority,
long ago.
yeah, because that's why majority of us watched it when it was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
Because I was not going to rewatch it again for no reason. I got no point.
exactly. Exactly.
So it's just like any other anime I can catch up on and everything, but it's just
One Piece is the only one. If you didn't watch from the beginning, it is so hard to catch up to the current episodes right now.
listen. I can't even talk trash about One Piece when I'm only waiting for another season of Hajime no Ippo, the boxing anime, which
Oh,
has
I
more
loved
volumes.
Hajime no Ippo. I read the mangas when I was younger. It
Yeah,
was
like
crazy.
I'm still waiting for a new season of that when that manga has more manga than One Piece currently. So, and they still making current chapters. I'm just like, just end already. I've been reading you since '98. Just
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy.
because I think I even though I caught up now, but like the last thing I read from Hajime no Ippo, because Ippo retired and everything. And then I think currently, um, his nemesis that always scares the mess out of him. He's dating
Hmm.
his sister. About dating his sister Kumi.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
yeah.
boxing. He's boxing currently right now. So
That's awesome.
I'm just okay. He needs to come out of retirement before I at least pass away at old age because I don't want that. And then not only that, I'm still waiting for what's that one specific manga that I've been reading since '02 or but it's one manga called Vagabond that still does not have an anime.
Oh, I remember that one. I remember that one. It's
Yep.
crazy. They're bringing back so many of the older anime mangas that I used to read as a kid, and I'm just like, it's crazy.
It's not like they're not bringing it back. It's just it does not have an anime yet.
Right.
Even with this old, I think it's on it like a hiatus for a little bit, but they still. I just need you to make the anime so I can at least like
I
end it
know.
already.
I know. It's crazy. It's
Like
crazy.
like it was kind because like I was a huge fan of Rurouni Kenshin, but kind of
Oh, me
not anymore for
too.
specific reasons. But yeah, but
Yeah, some stories I feel like span way too long. I'm not gonna say One Piece because I watched it a long time ago and I'm keeping up with it. But like there are some like that where I'm just like, oh my God, this is
what's
too long.
crazy, One Piece is really not that hard to catch up on reading. It's just watching it that's a pain.
Yes. Yes.
So I always tell people if you're gonna watch it, just letting you know, you're gonna have to waste a lot of time.
Yeah. My kids have been watching it for like 2 years now. And they're only on episode 300 something. And they
Oh
watch
yeah,
like two
they
or three episodes a day.
if they are that dedicated, they should be finished with it by probably the end of next year,
Next.
but we'll see. That's only that dedicated because I know things come up and things will be busy and everything, but
Yeah. Yeah,
I
but
don't
there's so
know.
many other good animes that they get distracted from other animes. Like my kids are into soccer, they're watching Blue Lock right now. We're watching
Oh
Blue Lock
yeah.
together. They love Blue Lock, but like new stuff comes out and they're like, "Oh, we want to watch the new thing." Then they forget to go back to the old thing they're watching. So it's
Oh
just so
no,
funny.
I be telling people I was like, I understand you're a big fan of this anime, but when Sakmono Days come out, it's gonna change a different story. Cause that's what I'm waiting for.
I'll have to look into that. I haven't watched that one or read that one. So
So remember that old dude I'm always posting in my stories?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, old man Takamo. Yeah, he's in the anime.
Oh, nice, nice. I'll have to look into that. I when
Yeah,
I have
but
free
it
time, I love reading or watching anime. That's like my
yeah,
thing.
Sakmono Days is a very good read. I'm just like, it's very violent. So
Oh, I don't mind. I mean, I watched Attack on Titan. Everyone thinks
yeah,
like that's like super violent.
I'm just saying that in regards to kids and stuff like that, but it's very
Yeah,
violent. But it's a good manga
nice.
though. But it's like I recommend reads for everybody too sometimes. But um, I think that's pretty much it on my end because I got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah,
But
no, I've really enjoyed this time with you, Anthony. I'm so glad I got to know you more and we got to talk about fun anime and cakes. And I will try to do, maybe you can help me come up with cool ideas. I am going to try to do something fun and challenging on my next con visit with cakes and cookies and anime themed fun stuff.
see, is if you want to put yourself through that challenge, that's good. But I don't want to do that to you. Because a lot of ideas that I have for specific animes and shows that I think of, a lot of it is challenging. And like cake wise, I don't know a lot of cake people. Like I do music and all the other stuff too. But it's just because it's just challenging because when I do my stuff release, I just like shoot if people design food of my stuff, then that's fine. Just let me get a slice at least before you show it off. So I got some ideas though, but just not the challenging ones because I remember I brought this to your attention because I said you can do another Aaron Yeager head, but why not do the founding Titan head?
Yeah, that would be so cool. Just the heads take me so long. And it's not even that, it's the fact that depending on the weather, because Otakon was like freaking hot, it was like 96 degrees. That
Oh yeah, see,
that
like
Aaron
this
was like
weather,
literally melting so fast. I could just feel him getting wobbly. And
yeah,
not
this
only that,
weather.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
no, no,
saying
absolutely.
I would say this weather coming up would be perfect, but I
Yeah.
was saying the one for I was like, nobody got time to be doing this at this weather, but it's okay. But
Yeah, no, Katsugon's great weather because that's like winter and it's cold
yeah,
and cakes last better in the cold.
yeah. So I was thinking that idea. The only problem is you're gonna have to pay attention to the face's muscle capacity. That's gonna be a problem.
Yes, yes. And
So
I feel like carrying the cake is so heavy. People don't realize how heavy Aaron's head was, but he
oh
was a good 10 pounds. And I carried him for 6 hours like this on my arm in that same position. And my arm was like so crampy at the end of the day. It was like, oh my God, he is so heavy. It's like I'm actually carrying that weight of a human head.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think because the only reason I brought that idea because I seen somebody do that before, but that cake was light as light. So I don't know if there's any methods that y'all can use to like, make it light, but cake is not light to begin with anyway. So
No, cake is so heavy. Once it gets bigger and higher, it's so heavy. Like my wedding cakes span between like 40 to 60, 70 pounds when they're stacked and up. Like it's just
mm.
so heavy. And my max carry weight is like 50 pounds, but that's like, for like 10 minutes to carry a cake to a table versus carrying it for the whole day at a con. So I give mad props to the cosplayers who have huge props that are like 50 to 100 pounds in like weight. Those cosplayers with huge weapons, those things are freaking heavy and they carry it all day too.
Listen, with just like with helping out in the wedding scene before and stuff like that, just working, I kind of just like go outside of my job curriculum because it's been a couple of instances where I seen a couple wedding cakes. I was like, okay, this is gonna fall. And I had to mess up my good suit for that, but it was okay.
Oh my
But
God, that's so nice.
because and then the funny thing, everybody is wondering. I was like, so you do realize this is a stack cake, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not carried right, because what kind of made the issue at first, the moment I saw two dudes, not judging the weight of the bodies, because I'm the same weight as them. It's just the cake I knew itself. When I looked at the measure, it was close to 200 and some pounds. And I'm like, how many people are you feeding?
Yes. Yes. Some of them are like that. Once they're stacked, yes, they're so heavy.
So I was like, because they was giving ideas how you want to break it out. I was like, okay, we're gonna need to get a big roller and just bring it out like that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And they was like, the only issue was like they didn't want to put the thing back, the little thing, put the bride and groom on top of the cake. I was like, look, I would do that myself, but we're gonna have to go through it to that area. They didn't want to do that. So they got the two dudes that wasn't even busy with anything. They got the cake. I was mainly surprised they brought it to the table. When they was put it on the table and they started shaking and all that. Somebody brought like a little shark thing to my instance. I was like, no, is that supposed to be in the cake? And I was like, Gibby.
Was it a
So
dowel? Were they trying to insert a dowel through the cake? Because a lot of it has to be done before they move it or it'll just topple. So,
so this one was unique because I never seen something like this. It was like one that can be put in the middle altogether, but it's one that can split into different categories. That kind of got me. So I was like, okay, why not just put one by the side so we can actually maneuver this cake? And somehow, some way it worked. And then everybody, finished the cake and all that. They kept asking me if I wanted it. I was like, no, I hate it. Just leave me alone.
well, you had
But
to put it back together. That's crazy. Or you had to help keep it together, which is crazy. They should
oh
have
no,
doweled it before. So a lot of the cakes I see,
that's
Anthony, they get doweled so that when they move it, it doesn't totally topple or slide from cake like a cake slides off. And so
oh
I
no,
dowel all my cakes with like a whole dowel going through the entire cake so that it doesn't
that's what I
move.
was mad about. So I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that should have happened beforehand. Because one piece of cake
Mm-hmm.
did fall. One piece of cake did fall on me. I wasn't complaining because I'm only the dude that would just take my jacket and just be like, just like it's cake. I don't trip about that. But as soon as they saw that happen, I was like,
Oh man.
I couldn't believe it. But yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's it for me. I got nothing else
Yep,
to
that's
talk
it for
about.
me too.
I really do thank you for joining me on episode 73 of the podcast. And everybody that kind of checked it out through the live stream and everything. Hopefully it worked because I seen it. I was live on YouTube, so hopefully it worked. But
Perfect.
thank for everybody to check out this episode. This will be uploaded later, and just be on the lookout for the playlist. And yeah, check out excuse me, my cosplay baker on Instagram and
And my
TikTok
YouTube. My
and
YouTube's the
YouTube.
cosplay baker. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Our YouTube's the cosplay bakers. Make sure you check out on that and check out on her profile and just check it out and support her, please, for me.
Yay. No,
Because this
thank you,
stuff is
Anthony, for
good.
supporting. This was so wonderful. I can't wait to see all your other stuff. And
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for having me. And you guys have a wonderful fall season.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.